Today is October 31st. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It's a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 8, Two Wives. We'll be reading page 107. Out of the 12 and 12, we'll continue tradition number 2 by reading page 133. And of course, today we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours, and it is Halloween. Don't know if I've ever shared this before, but I love spooky stuff. I have always, ever since I was a little kid, the earliest series I ever read, I guess I'm showing my age now, was Goosebumps. I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade when I started reading those, and then the TV show came out. Oh my goodness. As a full-grown 38-year-old going on 5-year-old, I still read the books and still collect them and love to read. Just anything scary. So this is one of my favorite times of the year. But anyways, I digress. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay, my friends, so if you recall from yesterday's reading, things are really dark here for the scenario our wives are painting for other wives of suffering alcoholics. Talking about what they've witnessed. And one of the last lines we read yesterday was that death was often near. So we are going to continue that idea on page 107. Under these conditions, we naturally made mistakes. Some of them rose out of ignorance of alcoholism. Sometimes we sensed dimly that we were dealing with sick men. Had we fully understood the nature of the alcoholic illness, we might have behaved differently. How could men who loved their wives and children be so unthinking, so callous, so cruel? There could be no love in such persons, we thought. And just as we were being convinced of their heartlessness, they would surprise us with fresh resolves and new attentions. For a while, they would be their old sweet selves, only to dash the new structure of affection to pieces once more. Asked why they commenced to drink again, they would reply with some silly excuse or none. It was so baffling, so heartbreaking. Could we have been so mistaken in the men we'd married? When drinking, they were strangers. Sometimes they were so inaccessible that it seemed as though a great wall had been built around them. And even if they did not love their families, how could they be so blind about themselves? What had become of their judgment, their common sense, their willpower? Why could they not see that drink meant ruin to them? Why was it, when these dangers were pointed out, that they agreed and then got drunk again immediately? Out of the 12 and 12 we're on tradition 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. Bottom on page 132 and 133. John Doe, a good AA, moves, let's say, to Middletown, USA. Alone now, he reflects that he may not be able to stay sober, or even alive unless he passes on to another alcoholic what was so freely given to him. He feels a spiritual and ethical compulsion, because hundreds may be suffering within reach of his help. Then, too, he misses his home group. He needs other alcoholics as much as they need him. He visits preachers, doctors, editors, policemen, and bartenders, with the result that Middletown now has a group, and he is the founder. Being the founder, he is at first the boss. Who else could be? Very soon, though, his assumed authority to run everything begins to be shared with the first alcoholics he's helped. At this moment, the benign dictator becomes the chairman of a committee composed of his friends. These are the growing group's hierarchy of service. Self-appointed, of course, because there is no other way. In a matter of months, AA booms in Middletown. The founder and his friends channel spirituality to newcomers, hire halls, make hospital arrangements, and entreat their wives to brew gallons of coffee. Being on the human side, the founder and his friends may bask a little in glory. They say to one another, "Perhaps it'd be a good idea if we continue to keep a firm hand on AA in this town. After all, we are experienced. Besides, look at all the good we've done these drunks. They should be grateful." True, founders and their friends are sometimes wiser and more humble than this, but more often at this stage, they are not. "24 hours a day, October 31st. AA thought for the day. I have more peace and contentment. Life has fallen into place. The pieces of the jigsaw puzzle have found their correct position. Life is whole, all of one piece. I am not cast hither and yon on every wind of circumstance or fancy. I am no longer a dry leaf cast up and away by the breeze. I have found my place of rest, my place where I belong. I am content. I do not vainly wish for things that I cannot have. I have the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Have I found contentment in AA? Meditation for the day. In all of us, there is an inner consciousness that tells of God, an inner voice that speaks to our hearts. It is a voice that speaks to us intimately, personally, in time of quiet meditation. It is like a lamp under our feet and a light under our path. We can reach out into the darkness and figuratively touch the hand of God. As the Big Book puts it, deep down in every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God. We can find the great reality deep down within us. And when we find it, it changes our whole attitude toward life. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may follow the leading of the inner voice. I pray that I may not turn a deaf ear to the urging of my conscience. Daily Reflection, October 31st. Avoiding controversy. All history affords us the spectacle of striving nations and groups finally torn asunder because they were designed for or tempted into controversy. Others fell apart because of sheer self-righteousness while trying to enforce upon the rest of mankind some millennium of their own specification. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 176. As an AA member and sponsor, I know I can cause real damage if I yield to temptation and give opinions and advice on another's medical, marital, or religious problems. I am not a doctor, counselor, or lawyer. I cannot tell anyone how he or she should live. However, I can share how I came through similar situations without drinking, and how AA steps and traditions help me in dealing with my life. Alright my friends, that concludes today's reading, and boy oh boy, some great stuff as always. The 24 hours a day, man, that sounds so good. Too good to be true, right? And there's been times in my life where, I didn't feel that at all. But there have been times where I have. And usually it all depends on my spiritual condition. A lot of times I can become complacent. I don't realize I'm being complacent until I notice that I'm short-tempered or whatever. And then I have to kind of recenter myself into the program and service work and doing the 5 things a very trusted friend taught me a long time ago. 1, not to drink, obviously, not to pick up. 2, pray. 3, to read the Big Book or walk the steps in some way each and every day. 4, go to a meeting. And 5, be of use to somebody else. help another drunk or help just another person. If I try to practice those 5 things each day, it's been foolproof, at least for me so far, that I will not drink, and that I might even feel peace. Getting outside of myself to help somebody else out there. But I love this. In all of us, there's an inner consciousness that tells of God, an inner voice that speaks to our hearts. I didn't quite understand it as a kid, and I don't begin to understand it now, even as a kid trapped in an adult's body. But I can say that I have felt peace. I do believe in my higher power, and I see tangible evidence of it in my life, and I'm grateful for that. And you might experience your higher power in a completely different way. I'm not here to tell you how to believe anything. I'm just here to read these books and share my experience, strength, and hope. So my friends, that's all we have time for today. If we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow. Be safe out there, everyone.